March 24th. Ta-da, we're rolling? Okay. Hello, everybody, and good morning. It is March 24th, 2017. It is my day 3:15. That can't be right. 3:16. Yesterday was 3:15. Today's 3:16 because you always see that at football games. John, 3:16. It's a little early. I couldn't sleep. I could sleep. I woke up like 20-30 minutes ago, and actually, anyway, today's the big day. Today is consultation. I think surgery, if I have surgery is going to be the big day. Today's the little day to the big day. But you got to have today for the next day, so maybe it is important. Anyway, I don't know how my cell phone is going to do on the road, but I'll try and make a video once I get, after the hospital maybe. And, again, my videos are not for my self-aggrandizement or to pump up my ego or anything. It really is just to record my transition, which my hope is will help other people, if they so desire, to watch them and maybe learn, maybe not make any mistakes that I made and whatever. And granted, everyone's different, but like I said, many eons ago, I did a YouTube search on transition, and all I got were the music videos. So I, wanted more substance. I don't have a music video yet. But to fill time here, obviously I can't leave. It's too dark. I'm gonna wait for the sun to rise. My appointment is not for 5 hours yet. But sort of, I thought I would tell the story about when I first found out about sexual reassignment surgery, or at the time it was a sex change, which later became sexual reassignment surgery, or gender reassignment surgery, or gender conforming surgery, or gender confirming surgery. But this is my story. The earliest I can remember of hearing about surgery, okay, not necessarily that I was transgender, but surgery, that I can remember was, I believe I was in middle school. I was old enough to ride my bike. And so probably about 6th or 7th grade. And I would ride my bike up to a place where I lived in Florida that I would get my hair cut. So I had to be old enough to ride my bike. Now, granted, times were a little different in the 1980s, prior to Adam Walsh being abducted, that, kids would like stay all day away out of their house, and parents didn't think anything about it. So don't think, oh my gosh, what was Robin doing out by herself at that time? But anyway, so the hair cuttery place, and it was like a hair cuttery, you would walk in and have your appointment, like a Supercuts. And in the waiting room, I was looking through, I'm going to say, magazines, and one of them was like People magazine, not Tapestry or something like that. It was People, like a common magazine, like People magazine. And it had a story about a girl whose name was Michelle, and I don't remember Michelle's last name, but apparently it was Michelle was living in France, or from France. She was French. She was born in France. And what caught my eye was not the title of the article, but one of those things where they have a picture and they have a little bit of text underneath of it. And it was something like, she said underneath it, the quote was like, "I would have had the surgery anyway to become a woman." I mean, it was something like just a snippet of text like that. And I was like, my attention was drawn to it. And sure enough, I read the article, and the article started telling the story of a boy named Michael who was transgender and had a sex change to be Michelle. And Michelle had her surgery when she was in her 20s, and she was now like 30 years old, you know. But I read the article like 3 times. And I was so tempted to take it with me because it was like forbidden gold. It was like knowledge that I was like, oh my gosh, I feel this way. And this is possible. Up until that time, when I thought about changing my gender, I was praying to God or whatnot to change me. It was magical. It was something beyond the normal. The stories of Freaky Friday, you'd switch bodies, or an artifact is cursed and switches bodies, or in my case, a TV show about an angel that switched, changed the gender of a child to a girl because he was a twin. He wanted to be different. Whatever. Let me check my time. Okay, 6 minutes. Good. And so, up until that point, changing my gender was something that was, like I said, paranormal. It was beyond the normal. It was fictional. But here was an article that talked about Michelle and mentioned a couple other names. I believe Christine Jorgensen, Renee Richards, a bunch of other folks at the time. Other popular names. And that was it. And that little article just, the next time I went back to get my hair cut, I looked for it and I couldn't find it. They had thrown the magazine away or whatever, but it planted the seed in my mind that, hey, this is possible. And really from that point on, I would go between praying to God to how am I going to save up for the money. It became this is something I'm going to do. And I regret not sticking with my plan then as a 12 or 13-year-old person to actually stick with it and do it. But I think life intervenes, and doubt and fear and questioning, and also at the time, like I said, so it opened my eyes. The veil was broken, and I could see the world, that was something that I wanted to do. But that was the first time. And I would later, go to the library and look up in the card catalog, gender, transgender. And I think over the years, it had different names and stigmas assigned to it. Was it something that you could be cured? Was it something that could be treated? And then I had the unfortunate to have a therapist when I was in college who was not really up on transgender stuff and kind of assumed that it was something to be cured, or it was a sickness, something else. Anger at your parents, it had roots in other things. And I'm thankful that we went through everything that it could have been, whether it be, homosexuality or being angry at my parents or all those other things. And it put the fear into me, because he put a seed in me that, transgender people make mistakes and they regret it, and they'll never tell you that they made a mistake. That was my first psychological counselor experience. And that really stunted my growth. Or, you know, I had to grow beyond that, do more research. And of course my feelings were genuinely mine and very deep running. You know, this is something I know, this is me, this is what I want to do. I need to do this. I want to do this. I have to do this. But like I said, that haircut experience, getting my hair cut for the first time, well, not for the first time, but you know what I mean? That was the first time that I was like, wait a minute, this is possible, you know? So today, here I am at 44. I think I'm 44 years old. I always get confused. I'm 44, 45. And that was something that, let's say, I was 11 or 12 years old. You know, that's 35 years ago. You know, to know what you want to do, or to feel like you know what you want to do, and having to wait 35 years to do something about it, you know. It didn't start today, you know, and that was something I think we can face sometimes with our friends. Let me check my time. Our friends and our family who think that, you know, oh, Robin's got a bug up his butt. You know, doesn't know what he wants, you know, and it's like, no, this goes way, way back. My earliest gender dysphoria feeling was in elementary school. I hated my name. I didn't answer to it. And I was very jealous of the girls when I was in elementary school. This would have been first grade. I knew. And I prayed to God, you know, please God, turn me into a girl. Make me into a girl. So again, it's been a lifetime, and you know, again, the only regrets that I have are the times of my life that I didn't stay true to my feeling. But I think, you know, life is chaotic and has, you know, the ebbs and flows of possibility, and, you know, depending on where you come from and where you're going and circumstance, I think things do intervene, but it always comes back to this, you know. You're transgender. You need to do this. You need to do this. And, you know, the book, there was a Dr. Seuss book that also affected me, which probably you're like, huh? But it was the story of the people, whatever they were. I'm going to call them Who's-Its, but they weren't Who's-Its. We'll call them What's-Its. The What's-Its were these like bear-like creatures, and there was another creature that had a machine that would put a star. You know, they would pay their money and it would put a star on their belly to make them different. And so what had happened was there was a group of people who had the stars and people that didn't have the stars. And they wanted to be the other. They weren't happy with themselves. And really all it was just putting a star on them. And the story was about how this other creature just made so much money because he tricked them into believing, you know, they wanted to be the other. And that's the way I felt about gender. You know, that there was the machine I was going to walk into, and, you know, it would change my body, you know, like that. You know, and it was like, I've been looking for that machine for quite a while, and today I'm going to meet not the machine, but I'm going to meet a surgeon who can do that. So it's been a long time coming. All right, well, I'm sure I'm close to time. Yep. So More later. Until next time. Goodbye. Good luck, everybody.